Today's video is brought to you by Swagbucks. Everyone is looking for a way to earn a little extra cash. With Swagbucks, you can earn while you watch videos, play games, take surveys, online shopping, even watching Netflix, along with incredible discounts at tons of retailers like Target, Starbucks, eBay, and so many more. I joined a few months ago and immediately started earning, mostly doing things I was already planning on doing. I love using Swagbucks to save while shopping on Amazon. If you click the link in the description below, you'll receive a $5 bonus when you take your first survey. Swagbucks. It's a fun and easy way to earn a little extra.
They call him Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
To many, Marvin Hagler is seek and destroy. In reality, he was so much more.
Lord almighty, down goes Willie the Worm Monroe.
A true practitioner of the art of boxing.
That's it, the bout is stopped, and I'm glad Tommy Reed jumped in. Oh, Lord, did he unload?
Hagler's the eldest of 6 children, raised in the ghetto of Newark, New Jersey.
Abandoned by his father.
In the beginning, my drive and determination all came from New Jersey.
Marvin and his mother fled New Jersey after the riots of '67.
Military people coming down the streets and people carrying rifles and things like that.
Finding their way to Brockton, Massachusetts.
And it was in Brockton, the birthplace of the great heavyweight champion Rocky Marciano, that Hagler learned to box.
He wandered into the Petronelli gym, sat down, and started watching the fighters.
Just sat there, came in the next day, he sat down, he was watching. So I was in the ring one day and I just looked over at him, I said, "Hey kid, you want to learn how to fight?"
And all I needed was a good teacher, somebody to show me what to do with these, you know?
Because he was a relative unknown in his early career, almost no footage of his first 30 fights exists.
Both men with dynamite in their fists. Couple of rights by Hagler getting in as he comes out aggressively now, and then comes up with the left, and he goes down. Eugene Cyclone Hart goes down from the left hand by Marvin Hagler. He'll take the 8 count.
The great, marvelous Marvin Hagler with tremendous punching power.
So as a man, he was a decent man. But as a fighter, what he said was he used to wrestle with what he described as his monster. And he said, and that was the character that used to come out when he was fighting.
He falsified documents to start his amateur career 2 years early. However, rather than wait 3 years for the Montreal Olympics, Hagler opted to turn pro as soon as possible.
He is a guy who, it seems, has been fighting his entire life. First to escape his environment, then for respect, and now he is fighting for recognizability.
Hagler is 7th rated now in the world. He's the one with no hair in the good left hand. That Hagler looks strong.
He's what we call a bricklayer in our trade.
He's tough from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet.
I mean, Marvin Hagler is a brilliant technical boxer, can switch from southpaw to orthodox like fluid.
He's right-handed again. There we go. Oh, best puncher. The best puncher tonight.
Like you didn't even notice the difference. He fought just as good from both sides, and he knocked everybody out.
All over. They should stop this fight. Hagler just looked at the referee and asked him to stop it. All over.
There it is. The winner's Marvin Hagler. His 31st knockout. It came with 38 seconds left in round number 8.
For 8 years, he worked construction by day and fought by night, earning purses of a few $100s.
Hagler coming into this fight has won 12 fights in a row, 11 of them by knockout.
The marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Marvin had to grind his way up in the fight game.
Good uppercut by Hagler.
Well, what Hagler is a real honest workman. He's in there, he's putting pressure on you, he's moving his hands all the time. Marvin Hagler now runs his record to 41-2-1.
His perseverance through the corrupt world of boxing was one of his strongest attributes.
Is it true that Joe Frazier once said something to you a long time ago that you had 3 strikes against you?
3 strikes.
Can you tell me about them?
One was that I was black, second one that I was a southpaw, and the third one that I was good.
He was right, wasn't he?
Yes, he was right.
46 fights, and still no title shot.
In the bad old days of boxing, it was not uncommon for worthy challengers to be overlooked, ignored, and bypassed. Especially if, like Hagler, they come from out-of-the-way places without connections in the boxing establishment.
I really felt as though I never got the respect which I deserved in the beginning part of my career.
It was his intensity and his whole attitude to the game that meant, you know, we could all identify with him.
His relentless aggression had made him a fan favorite, but his rough exterior and southpaw style didn't play to corporate America.
Nearly 50 fights before he got a chance.
Joe Frazier warned him, didn't he, very early on?
Yeah, Smoking Joe said that. Yeah.
Eventually, Senator Kennedy had to file a formal inquiry in order to get the Boxing Commission to force a title shot.
It took him 7 years to get a shot at the title.
Had to actually take his case to the US Senate, and they had a couple of senators actually start making inquiries before Bob Arum then granted him his first shot against Vito Antuofermo.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler. The undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Vito Antuofermo.
Finally, Marvin would get his first shot at the middleweight title.
Oh, right lead going Hagler. He is really chewing up Antuofermo.
The fight would go the distance.
They've had a pretty decent go of it. Fatigue is understandable. Here in the 12th round. Now it's Hagler. Toe to toe. The crowd on its feet. Look at the crowd. They stand as one. The end of the fight. Hagler feels that he is...
Hagler was ahead on the unofficial scorecard, but it's boxing, so...
The decision is a draw.
It's a draw.
Antuofermo is skilled.
Vito retains the title. Hagler absolutely disgusting.
The draw was a confirmation of all the things Marvin believed about the sport of boxing. He vowed never to leave it in the judges' hands again.
You can't leave it up to the referee, and you can't leave it up to the judges. There's only one way to do it, is to do it my way.
And they are both 27 years of age. Marvin Hagler, born in Newark, New Jersey, now lives in Brockton, Massachusetts, as we see his record.
Undeterred by the injustice, Marvin would demolish undefeated Lucif Hamani in his next outing.
Hagler will switch hands. Softball, but he'll go right-handed.
It's like a performer. I practice and practice and practice right here. But fight night, everything's got to come out perfect.
Good, straight right.
He dropped him in iconic style.
Another right hand. That's it. Hamani knocked right through these very loose ropes into the press row. As Hagler with a good short straight right. That was a damaging punch. And Hamani knocked right through.
Hagler hadn't lost in over 4 years. 22 straight fights.
You can tell by the sound of the crowd, as we suggested in the conversation with Bobby Watts, this is Hagler country.
He's lost only twice. He easily beat the men who beat him in return fights. He's never been stopped, amateur or pro.
Then he went in the ring against Bobby Watts, who had previously defeated him. He got rid of him in 2 rounds.
Hagler at times has been quite boastful, quite boisterous.
War, that's what's on my mind.
Hard right hand by Hagler. Appeared to hurt Watts. Watts is down. Just about the halfway point of the second round. Watts hurt by a right hand.
And one of Hagler's incredible attributes, besides his skill, was his determination to win.
Continues to be one of the most impressive middleweights in all the world.
Hagler would get another shot at the middleweight title.
Alan Minter became one of only a handful of British fighters to actually gain a world championship in the United States with his victory over Vito Antuofermo in March 1980.
This time against newly minted champion Alan Minter in Wembley Arena.
Hagler came to London for the fight that cost Minter the title and British boxing its good name.
And Alan Minter didn't particularly help the case. He gave an interview to Des Lynam for Sports Night where he said, I'll never lose my title to a black man.
Minter was the heavy crowd favorite as the Brits showered their champion with cheers.
As you look at the crowd, which has just sung God Save the Queen, it is always a moving scene. Round one. Round is underway. Round one. You'll hear this British crowd roar with every exchange, particularly if one exchange favors Minter.
The Marvelous One beat Minter senseless for 3 rounds.
Blood pouring out of Minter's nose now. Pouring out.
And he butchered Minter.
But this tactic... Blood gushing forth. Again the right leg. That's the second time.
Still throwing beer cans. One's rented on me. And this is the worst scenes.
Was what he used to fuel him through the next 12 defences that he had.
Every time that it seems that I talk to an English person, even the people that are over here that come from England, they apologize to me so much, apologetic. And I tell them the same thing. I don't hold any grudges. You know, only grudges that I hold from my fighters.
Now the undisputed champ, Hagler would get his first real payday, along with national attention.
I got here the hard way, and I'm planning on staying here. I'm leaving it up to my manager and trainer to figure out who's next, and I'm planning on being here for a long time.
Until February of 1979, the biggest payday that Marvin Hagler ever had was $15,000. And that, you know, by boxing standards, not a whole lot of money, and it wasn't that long ago.
Between the television rights fee and the live gate, Hagler will wind up with between $400,000 and $500,000.
Hagler came into the fight in the best shape of his life.
Over my heels in the dark trunks with the red stripes, the champion Marvin Hagler in the red trunks.
He's never out of shape. He never partied. He never did anything stupid.
His signature style of relentless aggression was on full display to the world.
2 good whacks that time by Hagler, and that staggers Obel for just a moment, and another combination has Obel a little bit wobbly right now.
Hagler looks like a raging bull right here.
The combination by Hagler staggers Obel again, and there's a right hand to the top of the head, and Obel was more staggered. And 3, 4 quick punches, and a right hand to the top of the head staggers Obel. Octavio Menard says, that's all, that's enough. Marvin Hagler is still the champion of the world.
Quite impressed with Obel, but he has nothing to feel sorry about. He fought a great champion.
He definitely did. Marvin Hagler really is the eternal professional.
To get that belt after all these lickings that you didn't took and all that hard road work and everything like this, Ray, you know, they just can't take it away from you.
Next up, a rematch with Vito Antuofermo, the man who had denied him his first title shot years earlier.
Marvin Hagler, probably the most popular athlete in the state of Massachusetts right now.
Vito rushed out, bumped heads, and immediately opened a cut over his eye.
He defeated Vito Antifermo in their rematch, knocked him out in 5.
And there is a left hand that puts Antifermo down. End of round 4. And now you heard Davey Pearl said he quits. Marvin Hagler's hand is raised. Vito Antifermo does not like it.
As you may know, there are two controlling authorities in world boxing, the WBA and the WBC. In most weights, they recognize different champions. Only at middleweight is the World Championship unified. Hagler is the undisputed best.
Marvin Hagler making his way now down the stairs in the ante-room to the horizon here.
He's a very persistent human being because most fighters who had to go over the hurdles and through the obstacles he did would have given up a long time ago.
He's a very popular fighter, been around a long time, had a lot of trouble getting fights. People just didn't want any part of him, and now, this of course is his third title defense as he comes into the ring now.
Because Hagler's going to box him, going to outmaneuver him, and Hagler's right jab is very effective there.
Another title defense with yet another series of cuts being opened by Hagler's ferocious jab.
He said that he would knock me out. He's got a nasty smile on his face, which I don't like, and I wanted to take that smile off his face, and which I did.
If you didn't know better, you would think that Hamsho is trying to break Hagler's hands with his jaw.
And there's the right hand, sends Hamsho back a couple of steps.
An onslaught of combinations rocked Hamsho.
Combinations of punches by the champion. Tries to go downstairs, comes up the right hand, steps behind that. Hamsho is against the ropes, takes another right hand, and an uppercut. Hamsho's corner is up. They're saying that's it, that's all. Braverman is saying stop it. The referee does so. The fight is over, and Marvin Hagler has retained his undisputed middleweight championship of the world. What can you say?
You can't say anything, but this guy is truly Hagler, the greatest middleweight in the world.
The world's middleweight champion, Marvin Hagler.
He is, many observers feel, a better fighter now than he was when he won the title more than 2 years ago. He's turned his frustration while struggling toward the top into a positive crusade to stay there.
The temporalis is a muscle that runs across the skull and is a 1/4 inch thick. Marvin Hagler's temporalis muscle is 1 inch thick.
He had giant muscles on the side of his head, like he
by
was
his temples?
born with headgear. This was like a big thing in the world of sports back in the day, like that he was literally almost born for this.
And the chance starts to pick up now for the man they call around this part of the country, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And we're ready to go. The World Middleweight Championship on the line. Marvin Hagler defending against Caveman Lee, a consolidation of the rules between the WBA and the WBC.
And Marvin starts moving in for the kill.
Stiff right hand by Hagler. Hard left.
Let's watch again.
Lee says he's all right. He doesn't look it. He's wobbly. He's in trouble. A right hand, a left hook to the side of the head. Hagler said he didn't want it to go very long, and it's not going to go very long. It is over. Lee sags against the rope. He's out of it. Marvin Hagler has knocked him out. It took 1 minute and 7 seconds for Marvin Hagler to knock out Caveman Lee.
Marvin was far more than just a big puncher. Hagler spends the months before a fight alone, training in isolation.
He'd lock himself away in a self-imposed prison in Cape Cod for 8 weeks before a fight.
He stayed here, at the Province Inn, an empty hotel. with a strong, shining vibe.
Here's Johnny. And he'd put himself into this monastic existence merely so he could blame his opponent for it.
I can't let this guy here get lucky in no way. I'm out there to rip his head off.
Who's the champ? I'm the champ.
This is when I work. Even when I'm tired, I have to keep working, keep pushing.
He worked tirelessly to better his skills and build endless reserves of endurance.
Marvin Hagler has dubbed himself Marvelous with a capital M, and he's given us no reason to think otherwise.
The isolation seems to suit Marvin. He needs it to create the kind of emotion that drives him to explosive fury.
Don't think about it. Gotta do it. Who's the champ? I'm the champ.
So Billy O'Bell, who says he's got nothing but confidence, he said, as a matter of fact, yesterday when we spoke with him point blank, I am going to win this championship tonight.
Well, this is good for me because I love a man when they talk like that. He gives me more meaning of really getting in there and really tearing his head off. You know, it's like where you have to really psych yourself up, build yourself up for a fight, anything like this. This helps me to motivate me quicker.
Well, Hagler's already successfully defended the championship 5 times, and nobody's yet gone the distance with him.
Left and a right hand by Hagler, hurt O'Bell there. And Hagler's throwing good combinations. What a right hand from Marvin Hagler. Those uppercuts were very effective. Raises his head, and he's over. He's through, Barry. This one is all over. And that was a smashing right hand that did it. Marvin put some beautiful combinations together.
After rattling off a few more fast title defenses, the super fight between Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard was on everyone's mind. But Sugar Ray continued to shy away from making the fight.
You gotta make some of that money. I'm tired of people telling me how generous he is and how good friends we are. If I'm such a good friend, give me that big payday then. That's what we want. We want to show real artists and everything else out there, and I believe that it's us that can do it. All right.
Marvin wanted to be called Marvelous. We ran up against the guy who was in charge of ABC Sports, and he said, if you want us to use the name Marvelous Marvin, go to court.
So that's what he did. Marvin had his name legally changed, forcing ABC to address him as Marvelous Marvin Hagler during broadcasts.
And so what's left is to get on with it now. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Should point out, Marvelous Marvin Hagler is his given name now. He had his name legally changed.
Hagler, until a few months ago, reckoned to be 30 years old when he changed his name to Marvelous. They discovered on his birth certificate that he was really 28.
So Marvelous is very much a part of it. Bob Arum has said, in regard to the fact that he sold out this house in 24 hours, that Marvin Hagler has finally arrived as an American hero. He himself says, since I've been champion, Ray, I'm getting meaner.
He then set his sights to Tony Simpson.
Well, he's worked so hard to be the undisputed middleweight champion. And Hagler's a very proud champion, Barry.
Hagler very sharp early on here. Marvin Hagler not one to waste a lot of punches. Good shots from Hagler, snapped the head of Tony Simpson back. Marvin Hagler scores with an inordinate number of punches. He just does not waste a lot of punches.
Hagler delivered possibly his most complete and polished performance, befuddling Tony Simpson.
A jolting right hand, a looping right hand.
So Hagler just destroyed him, and when he was interviewed afterwards, Tony Simpson described the experience of being locked up in a cage of pain and watching Marvin Hagler throw away the key.
It would be an understatement. Marvin Hagler, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, he shows so much of boxing technique
So coming up next here on HBO, the 7th title defense of the champion, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, as he takes on the #1 contender, Wilfred Scipion. From Marvin Hagler, who again has given every indication that he must be ranked amongst the top middleweights of all time.
After making quick work of Wilfred Scipion, Hagler would do battle with the first of the 4 kings. Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran.
You can hear this crowd very much, apparently, in the corner of Roberto Duran.
Be prepared for a flash stop down.
First round. Listen to this crowd. The crowd is absolutely electric.
A fight between 2 of the best to ever do it.
Hagler scoring more effectively there. That was a good left hand to the body, and there's a good right hand by Duran.
It did not disappoint. The 2 fighters stood toe-to-toe in the center of the ring.
That time was Hagler with a counter punch, comes back with a right hand.
Hagler was an action fighter who never ran from back-and-forth exchanges.
And there was a left hand. Duran says, no, I'm not hurt. It did stagger him.
To his credit, Roberto Duran went the distance.
If you want an editorial on this fight, let the crowd give it to you.
For the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
At last, the recognition was coming by way of endorsements. Hagler was the face of boxing.
Grab oneself one of these Red Guard sports sticks, because one would hate to be considered malodorous by one's chum.
The rematch against Roldan was a savage back and forth.
He's strong, we know that. And there's a flash left hand.
And you couldn't have heard him. He only had 1 knockdown his entire career. It was a bullshit knockdown.
First time that Marvin Hagler has ever been knocked off his feet. He's not happy about it.
The Bulldog Roldan came forward, swinging for the fences.
And there was a good right hand by Roldan. Both men were shook.
But his granite chin absorbed Roldan's best shots. Then, with 1 stiff jab, the momentum turned. This punch opened a deep slice over Roldan's eye.
Roldan was hurt by Hagler there. He's down between the ropes. And the left eye, it is
closed. It was now just a matter of time.
Right on the eye. There was a right hand, and Juan Domingo Roldan goes down. And let's see if he wants to get up.
After the fight, the usual questions about a Ray Leonard matchup were asked.
What about Ray Leonard? Do you see now that this is a fight off in the distance that may never happen?
Ray. He's right down there.
But what are your thoughts about him now?
Ask Ray. He's right down there. Ask Ray.
Well, we'll ask him, but first you tell us.
Ask him. He's all you got to do is sign the papers, man.
The face, a good combination, stunned Hamsho once more. A left and a right hand right behind it. domination. Now you're going to see Marvin Hagler go to work.
Boom, perfect timing.
Hamcho is down. He will not get up. This one is all over. A stunning performance by Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
He can't whoop Marvelous Marvin Hagler. That's it. Nobody can whoop me. I'm the best. They won't give me the credit, not even you. But I'm the best. I'm waiting one day to hear you say that I am the greatest. I'm waiting.
Talking about money, you talk about Fort Knox. And this is the only man could never make that possible. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. A fight with this great man, this great champion, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, could be one of the greatest fights in the history of boxing. But unfortunately, it'll never happen.
Here he is, a prop in this one-man play where Ray Leonard humiliates and embarrasses him.
Marvin considered this a slap in the face. Leonard strung him along for years, only to tell him in a crowd of thousands that he was retiring. Meanwhile, Tommy the Hitman Hearns.
And Tommy Hearns was murking mothers like a cobra, man, just crack. Motor City Cobra.
That's it, Tim. Anytime you fall forward, the fight's over, Tim.
A huge right hand by Thomas Hearns.
And so the super fight between Hearns and Hagler was set.
Confident Thomas Hearns would move up to the 160-pound weight class. The long-awaited showdown was set.
Keep that belt by your bed, because it'll be the last time you see it.
Can't hear you.
Pull a little baseball cap on. War across the top. You knew, and I think Thomas Hearns knew, that it was about war with Hagler.
Great fights. I mean, some of the greatest fights of all time, if not the greatest. Some people still argue the Hearns fight.
By the mid-1980s, Marvelous Marvin Hagler had taken on all comers. After 11 title defenses over 5 years, he stood alone.
It was no secret each man had little love for the other. This fight was everything for both of their legacies. Two warriors of historic renown.
Well, it's been voted certainly the greatest round ever, that first round when they went at each other like alley cats.
Obey my command at all times. Shake hands, good luck to both of you.
A lot of speculation coming into this fight, and they just went at it.
Nobody could take Hearns' punches. When Hagler shook it off, I remember thinking, the fight's over.
And for the 8 minutes of mayhem is what it's often referred to. It's an incredible fight.
Bang! Boom! Come on, man!
Bangs, Marvin! Oh, Hearns hit him with a right hand!
Possibly the most memorable fight in 30 years of boxing on HBO.
So it was Hagler coming out like a bullet. A good left by Hagler, but Hearns didn't blink. There's blood all over Marvin Hagler's face. Can't tell where it's coming from.
They're going to war. These are two of the best middleweights ever, and they're standing in front of each other going to war.
Working on it, but Hearns uppercutting again. A tremendous, sensational first round as Hearns gets hurt. Great first round. Wow. Incredible. Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history.
I mean, there's a famous quote that, again, Goody Petronelli told us. He said that when he was in the corner, Hagler said to him, whatever happens tonight, don't stop this fight. I'm prepared to die in the ring.
Round two now. Oh! The glove. Left hand by Hagler.
Hearns decided to stand right in front of Hagler, and Hagler decided to stand right in front of Hearns.
As you say, though, Hagler turning it into a street fight.
Well, he turns righty. He wants it to be a street fight. Excuse me, Al. Hagler turns righty. I think this could be a key moment in this fight.
For the first time, Hagler switching.
Whoa!
Crazy, man.
Oh, it was amazing. Marvin Hagler made you want to just get out of your house and go running in the snow.
He has Hearns in trouble on the ropes. Tommy trying to punch his way off the ropes. Hagler wants to keep him there. Goes to the body. Second round coming to an end. Hagler bloody but very much unbound. Into round two.
They said this fight would be determined on heart and the good chin. Right now, that's exactly what it's being determined on. You can throw the strategy out the window right now.
Again, Hagler is all bloodied. Time is called by Richard Steele to send Hagler over to the ring doctor. He's calling the ring.
Stand toe-to-toe and see who's the bigger man. Oh my God, everyone's gonna die. Hagler's gonna take you to the end of the earth, man.
Another right hand. Hearns is back, takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down in the third round and on his back. He can't continue. It's Hagler stopping him in the third round. It didn't go very far, but it was a beauty.
Arguably the most action-packed 3 rounds of boxing in history. Dubbed by boxing fans as the War.
You know, he was so disciplined. That was the thing that I always got out of watching him. Wasn't that he was so wild. He was so mentally strong. He had an iron chin. And his discipline was impeccable.
Hagler had one more quick defense before stepping away for over a year.
Marvin Hagler is the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. Of 62 fights, he's won 52 have been by knockout.
Hagler versus Leonard at last.
He was lured back into action by the return of an old rival, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Seems that out here the feeling is everybody wants Leonard to win, of course, with the exception of the New England contingent, but everybody thinks Hagler will.
From Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, if there's a word that describes tonight's activity here at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, it might be finally. We're looking at $100 million gross here in Las Vegas. They're saying this weekend could have the largest economic impact in its history.
He is the challenger and former undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the WBC middleweight champion of the world, Marvin Hagler.
What Leonard did was they conceded on the money and gave Hagler the lion's share of the money.
But you can't let the other guy put rounds in the bank. He's much better as a southpaw, and yet he's fighting orthodox.
But what they insisted on was the size of the ring, so they chose the biggest ring possible because they knew that Leonard was going to spend his time running.
I think Marvin is making a mistake. He's trying to prove that he can outbox Leonard.
Another miss by Hagler, and Leonard made him pay again. That's the end of round 2.
On my card, Barry, Leonard won the first 2 rounds.
Leonard continues to put a lot of miles on those new sneakers.
Hagler's starting to lose his temper, Tim.
Leonard's confidence is building, and he senses that Hagler's losing his temper.
Tim, right now, Leonard is floating like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. Can he keep it up?
They also insisted that it was a 12-round fight, not 15, because he knew that there was questions about Leonard's stamina.
They weren't at their prime then.
Yeah.
I wanted to see those 2 guys in their prime just go at it.
Showboat punch from Leonard. That brought the crowd alive, many of them to their feet.
It's a great performance by Sugar Ray Leonard so far, Tim. Great performance.
Hagler didn't want to just win. He needed to make a statement.
Let's go back into that round, the best so far by Hagler. Hagler had to make something happen in the 5th round, having given the first 4 to Leonard, and he did. We scored the last one for Hagler.
Leonard stole rounds with quick but flashy flurries in the closing seconds.
Ray is going to have to get that second win, Tim.
Jabs starting to land now.
And they're stiff. They're not just little jabs. They're stiff.
In round 5, Hagler switched back to southpaw. The fight quickly turned. It was now all Hagler, clearly the aggressor, chasing and attacking Leonard, with Leonard's shots doing no damage.
hard to know how this fight would be scored, but it's closer than Marvin Hagler thought it would be going into this last round.
Many, myself included, feel Hagler either won or got the draw.
Look at Ray Leonard. What a cocky kid.
Fight, but on his feet.
By a split decision, and new middleweight champion of the world, Leonard.
The scoring of it, people still argue about it to this day, don't they?
Lost a controversial decision to Sugar Ray Leonard that to this day I think he
Hagler
won.
was so frustrated by the decision and by obstacles to a potential rematch that he did something no other fighter has done. He walked away from another 8-figure payday and moved to Italy, never to fight again.
He's kept his money, he's kept his health.
And lives a simple life. He says he's won, $40 million in purses over the years. He said, I live in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, but that's the way to do it, huh? Kind of go out at a good prime and then just say goodnight.
Yeah, nobody else did it like him. Yeah. Just retired and became a movie star in Italy.
I got no other choice.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler returns from the original Indio.
He went to Italy and became a giant movie star.
By all accounts, he lives happily in retirement, managing his money smartly and leaving the sport of boxing with his health.
It's a mental toughness, and that's what I feel. War, that's what's on my mind.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
From the continual assault, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Nobody brings it home like Joe Vincent. Nobody. Make it so.